Welcome, welcome, welcome to everyone. We are so honored and happy to have you here for this incredible presentation. And I'm Reverend Janet Childs, along with this Speaker Series Committee. And we are so privileged to bring about a discussion with our wonderful Jacqueline Sentak Zavaleta and Rigzin Zavaleta. And these have been two amazing people that have been a part of our UCM community for a long time and who have just done exhaustive work on developing their prayer practice and their spiritual journey. And I just have to say, Jacqueline, you all are amazing. You know, what you have done in terms of intensive study, in terms of the Tibetan Buddhist tradition and the power of prayer is something that I am so excited to be learning about and so excited to be here. So for each and every one of you, as we open up our evening, it's our tradition, Corky and I, for the speaker series of letting the candle be lit. And the candle is just the symbol of our combined light and of the light of the universe. And we picked purple, and I don't know if you can see the origami heart has swirls of purple. And that's just for healing, rejuvenation, renewal. And as we talk about the power of prayer and what it can bring us, we wanted to do this especially for our speakers and for all of you. And so, if you're okay, since I'm going to fire up the candle. And before my brother died, he taught me how to make the origami heart. And every fold is full of good energy. And we bring that to all of you tonight. And so I just invite us to take a nice deep breath. That's it. And just kind of settle down and settle into your chair. Settle into looking at the Zoom meeting and all that we can do for and with each other as we are here together. And Jacqueline and Rigzin do not need any introduction, but the introduction that I would give them is they have been spiritual journeyers for a very, very long time. And they've gone deep into the Tibetan tradition, but also deep in other prayer traditions. And so to talk about the power of prayer with these two amazing individuals is such a gift. And I am honored that each and every one of you are here because many of you have your own tradition that is very rich and deep. And so the goal of the speaker series is to get us all together, get us talking, get us sharing, and getting us deepening our awareness of these different traditions and how we can best utilize them in these powerful times that we are in. They are times of transformation, and we are together, going through it together, and manifesting the best and highest good. So I'm just going to put the candle back here, but if you ever need it, me to bring it up, you just let me know. And it's just wonderful to see you all. And with that, Reverend Jacqueline, I'm going to give it to you.
You gonna pin me?
I'm going to pin you. Yes.
All right, I don't see anything. Oh, there's me, but I'm
there. You. Well, everyone else is seeing her big, right?
No. Well, we do it individually. We can do it individually.
Yeah.
I mean, if everybody goes up to the upper right-hand corner and goes to speaker, she'll be big.
Okay.
You're big on my screen.
And
yeah, you're big on my screen.
The recorder's on? The recording on?
Yes, the recording is on.
Oh, yeah, now I see it. Okay, thank you. I didn't see it before.
Okay, well, thank you for coming. I'm going to start with the prayer. We thank the Divine for bringing us together in thy light and in thy love, so we may be a part of thee in all thy ways. Open our hearts and minds and souls to thee. And so it is.
it is.
And so it is.
I'm going to start in the early 1980s, like 82 or so. I met my root teacher. He helped me to find the nature of my mind and how to pray. He was ordained minister. He was very spiritual, and he had 8 kids, and he was a Navy man. And when he retired earlier, he saw, since he was working for the Atomic Commission and the Pentagon, how we were headed towards World War III. So through different series of his prayers and meditation, angelic realm, they said, "What are you going to do about it?" And he said, "Well, round the clock prayer. I'm going to take my family, 8 kids, my wife, Diana Gore, and myself, and we're going to find a place and just pray." And he was looking at just his family, right? Not the masses of people who came later. And he was incredible. I like to call him a Christian mystic. I remember where I had studied, oh, there he is. In the back, that's Jim Gore. And in the background is the Light Center, which they built. Buckminster Fuller did the design, and it's like a dome building, a geodesic dome. And that's the prayer center, or the Light Center that we call it. Eventually, his home had so many people that they built this separate prayer center.
Where's it located?
Black Mountain, North Carolina.
North Carolina. Okay.
And it's still going strong. We have online prayer once a month, and even there are people there that go daily and do prayer. The main crux of his teachings is called the 7 Steps to Effective Prayer. And he guaranteed, and it totally changed people's lives. It's been in many languages. He wanted something simple that people could memorize, that worked, and it changes you. It does the chemical process in your brain using the light, the divine light of the source, and that we're creators in action. And when I first met him, I had a friend who said he healed her in the dream state. They were Virginia Beach people from ARE, Edgar Cayce Center, who would come to his teachings. And I met his wife a year earlier, and that was Diana Gore, and they were power couple, talk about the power couple. And then at some point, my whole life was kind of challenges, my job, my relationships, my health. And so I wrote a letter to him, and he said, "Why don't you come to the Light Center and work for me?" So I said, okay. I had a dream that gave me guidance to go to Black Mountain, North Carolina. And here I am in California. And when I went there, he said, I said, "Well, what am I required to do?" He says, "First off, you have to eat pancakes for breakfast with everybody," because he had this recipe, I guess, from the Navy. And we had to eat pancakes. And then we had to pray 9 o'clock, noon, 5 o'clock and 9 p.m. So we had those different prayer sessions. Well, I had never really prayed for 2 hours on and then 6 hours off. He did prayer tours. And so my first prayer tour, we sectioned off to the different parts of the world. And I was in the group at like 2 in the morning, and we had 2 hours of prayer and then 6 hours off. And then you came back in to pray. And it went like on through Friday night, through the weekend, and ended at Sunday morning, where we all got together again. And I had a lot of shifts. Our topic was the Middle East, and that was way back in like 85. And all I can say is I experienced the Christ energy and the Christ himself, who told me that I had been connected to his mother very strongly, and I was like his babysitter. And I was quite surprised because I wasn't really raised. I was raised in Florida, and you get a choice to go to Unitarian church or go to the beach. Which do you think I picked? The beach, go crabbing, go swimming, go boating. So I was kind of like a nature girl. But I also had a reverence for the spiritual at a young age. And when I met Jim Gore and he taught these 7 steps, I religiously did them and I changed. And I want to teach these 7 steps to you all. He guaranteed within 2 weeks, expect a miracle. Do it 15 minutes twice a day for 2 weeks. And he was who I considered a Christian mystic, because he actually came up with his own version of interpretation of some of Christ's teachings. He did give me a Bible to read everything that Christ said and that he taught. And it was illustrated by his son Salvador Dali, a wonderful artist. So the first step, he said, is I release. We want to release those things that are holding us back. And one of the things are our past. You're in the past, you're holding on to it. It's time to release it to the light. The light is a divine light, the Christ light that exists. Where there's light, there can be no dark. It's very powerful. See, the next thing is your past and your future. If you're thinking of the future, you're not in the present moment. The present moment is your point of power. So I released all my past to the light. I release all negative thoughts and feelings to the light. I release all my fears, and you can name your fears. At the time, Jim said the number 1 fear was fear of death. Later, he said it was changed to fear of public speaking.
Yeah.
I relate to that because I remember when I had an experience and he would be at the breakfast table with our pancake breakfast, and I would share my dreams and my experiences. And then he one day handed me in front of everyone the microphone and said, "Jacqueline, come and share your experience." I was a little bit embarrassed. He handed me the mic and said, "This begins your public speaking career," which there's no way I ever would have thought I'd be an ordained minister. And I started my own angel healing group. And for 10, 11 years, I did the main mission that he had me agree to come to California. He saw 12 light centers all over the planet. And he said, got a commitment of me to come out here and do it. The other thing is we have negative self-image, whether it's the media, other people, the way we're raised. So I release all my self-image to the light. Human desires. I want this, I want that, release it to the light. The concept of money. We tend to have a community that worships money beyond God. And God said, "There shall be no God before me." And to love thy fellow man, as yourself. How many of us love ourselves? At the essence, we are light beings. And we have within us, everyone has within them that light. And we want to amplify the light within others, as well as ourselves. The concept of sex is another thing. If Jim said if sex were the answer, it'd be the most enlightened planet in the cosmos. And the concept of it is more animal sex and not the divine love and light that we merge with each other. Judgment. He said, if people stopped judging, it would be the most enlightened planet in the world, and it would be so quiet. We judge everything, so we watch our thoughts and our feelings and what we say and our behavior. So I release all my judgments to the light. Let's see. Communications. I release all communications to the light. We are creators in action. What we say, what we do, how we think affects our world, affects each other's. And you don't have to even say anything. He would say, if you run into people, you could silently say, "I love you," because people are so desirous of love and of light. And I see light. He'd tell us to say, "I see light," 500 times a day, and that opens up your third eye and your heart center. Let's see. And our loved ones, we're attached to our families. We have to let them be free. So I release the concept of father, mother, sister, daughter. We are beings of light. We can be Christed beings. Jesus taught The things I do, you can be an even greater. And two or more together in my name. We are whole and complete in ourselves. We carry the mother, father, daughter, the whole family within each one of us. That energy is in us. So we are whole and complete when we do our prayer sessions. It's good to have like-minded beings like you all. When we do our prayer sessions, we can bring peace and harmony to the world, plus joy. There's such joy when you're doing your divine mission, and the creator within you is doing the works. As Christ said, the Father does the works. It's not me, my ego as a human being doing this. It's a higher power, the Christ within us. We are Christed beings, we're baby God beings in actions. And we need to amplify that, especially with the way the world is. Pray for our leaders. The creator in them heals them and directs their lives to light. So the other thing is to recognize I am a being of light, because that's what we are. If you can't say that, or I am a Christed being, you could say I'm a really good person. Something positive that we see ourselves. You can look in the mirror. What I do, I see light and see your eyes, see the light within you, not this form. We're bigger than this, greater than this. Okay. You could, if you want to put the picture of the light center, the prayer room up with the purple carpet, you could put that on. We would go upstairs in the dome, and this is where we would pray. Jim did a Friday morning class where anyone could ask any question, and he would be channeling, or not really the voice of the divine would come through him. There's our prayer room. And his kids prayed about how this would come about, and it looks like a other world ET thing, And one time we were praying, and Jim said, "You know what happened just then when we were praying?" He said the star beings came and said, "Don't forget to pray for us." So in the 1980s, I was praying for the star brothers and sisters, which I was very much a skeptic. And in fact, there was a woman who came to the Light Center, and she had in the 1950s an ET group. And I think even the CIA may have come to investigate. And she came and she was talking about this woman who mated with an alien in South Africa. And she had a child that eventually went with the father to his planet because of the atmosphere here. And Jim actually took a prayer group to Africa, and they met her. And she came to the Light Center and talked about her experience. But I was kind of edging her on because I didn't believe it at all. I'm like, "Oh yeah, keep telling me this story." Well, I went into the colored light room where that resonated with different energy centers or chakras. And I'm sitting there doing my prayers, and I open my eyes, and here it comes. Across from me was a star being. He had a light bulb head and long fingers. I was shocked. He didn't say anything. I'm saying he's a he. When I was done, I left the light chamber, and Jim's secretary whipped out a piece of paper out of her typewriter and said, "This is for you." And it was a message from the star being. They were watching me, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, how could I deny that?" Then I went upstairs and started praying. And then I wound up on another planet with star beings of a planet. And they were asking questions about my life here on the earth and if they should plant something. I said, no, you don't have to put it something. We can communicate telepathically. And they said, whenever you need healing, you can come to our planet. And then someone else had seen that same star being. He described him as he drove up at the Light Center. So we are radiant beings of light. We have a commandment to heal and love our brothers and sisters, our fellow men and women. I radiate the light from my light center, which is solar plexus, throughout my being. Okay, and I'll leave it at that, but you can name my nervous system is filled with divine love and light. Be specific. I radiate the light from my light center, solar plexus, to everyone, so that they get the light. And the creator in them heals them and directs their life to light. Then I radiate the light from my light center to everything. This includes the waters of the world, the earth element, the fire element, the space. Am I forgetting one? The mineral kingdom, which is alive, the plant kingdom, the animal realm, the human realm, the angelic realm. Okay. Then, because of the mass consciousness, not always in a positive light, we need a little bit of protection. So I am in a bubble of light. Only light can come to me, and only light can be here now. And I was informed that this prayer came from a white angel, to help bring this prayer about. And I would include, if you call on the power and the presence of an enlightened being, whether it's the Christ, whether it's Mother Mary, whether it's Mother Tara, Kanyan, to also be our Michael, Archangel Michael, as part of your protectiveness in this bubble of light. The bubble of light's really powerful. Jim taught you could put a bubble of light in your car for protection. And in your gas tank, he said, if you did that, you get more miles to the gallon. There was a guy who came, he was from like Indiana, and he said, I'm going to test that. So he hopped in his car and he drove all the way back from North Carolina to, I think it was Michigan or something, and then back again. He said, it works. And it does. Sometimes you don't think you're going to make it. Like we were driving to LA and we almost ran out of gas. And I was putting the, bubble of light around the gas tank and we made it. We almost ran out. And you can attract to that. Let's see, an abundant supply of money is in a bubble of light. I'm in a bubble of light. The two bubbles are merged. And then, so you only want a bubble of light to protect you. Only light can be here. Only light being can be there. And then give credit where credit's due. Thank the divine. Thank you, God, for everyone, everything, and for me. So that's the 7 steps of effective prayer. First step, I release all my past negative fears, human relationships, self-image, future, human desires, concept of sex, concept of money, judgments, communications, and loved ones to the light. I am a light being. I radiate the light from my light center, solar plexus, throughout my being. I radiate the light from my light center to everyone. I radiate the light from my light center to everything. My whole being is in a bubble of light. Only light can come to me. Only light can be here. Thank you, God, for everyone, everything, and for me. So that's in a nutshell. You do it and he guaranteed it, 2 weeks, 15 minutes, twice a day. I said, well, what if I'm praying for someone? You can put someone, like Reverend Dottie is in a bubble of light. We do the 7 steps prayer for Reverend Dottie. And there was a man who came, he says, well, I haven't talked to my mother-in-law or my mother for 20 years. I want to pray for her, but how will I know? Jim said, just pray. Well, out of the blue, his mother called him. They kind of readjusted their relationship. And they had the love again, mother, son, family, and she bought him a piano. It was 3 days later after doing the prayer, reinforcement. They've traveled all over the world on these prayer tours doing the light prayer. It's been in many languages, including Russian. And that was another thing. Jim took the light prayer and the prayer itself of people getting together to pray for different countries. If there was a Middle East war, they were there. They'd rent a hotel room and do prayers. And it was 2 hours on, 6 hours off, round the clock. So that was Jim's teaching. And I lived by it, and I've been doing it since the 80s. And then I taught it for 10, 11 years. I was doing the work, the prayer work. I started with 11 people. Most of them were engineers who were skeptics. One guy, my wife sent me here. I didn't believe in any of this stuff. Well, after my teaching, he experimented. And sure enough, his baby that was crying nonstop stopped crying, and she was at peace. So that's the light prayer. And now I'm going to shift to the picture you have of the earth and the angels sending light to the planet. When I was at the Light Center, I actually saw these crystallite beings. They were huge. One was kind of this gold yellow, and the other was blue. I could see through them. They were like crystal beings. There they are as we pray for the planet. This is the angels that support us. Some of the angels, there's more because we all come with the guardian angels and different enlightened beings. And then the next slide is me with Jim Gore on the steps. So you want to flash that one, a picture on the steps of the Light Center. You have that picture, Janet? So that's me on the steps of the Light Center with Jim. And then the little girl is the daughter of one of my friends who I befriended there in North Carolina. I was there for many months, and I did go back for Jim's final teaching. And then he passed, but he would come in dreams. And I still am part of the prayer group that does online prayer. And now I'm going to shift over to my Tibetan and my journey there. I was invited to see a Tara dance. And I saw these ladies dancing the goddess Tara aspects. There's 21 specifically. And I looked and I saw this huge golden goddess at the top of everybody. And I said, I don't know what this is, but I've got to get into this. And when I first danced my first Tara dance, and the teaching was in El Cerrito, California, I had 2 sprained ankles. I never danced in my life, although when I was at the Light Center, it was my birthday, and Jim had given me a present. He handed me this little box. He says, here's something you really love. And it was a dancer pin. And I'm like, what's he giving me that? I'm not a dancer. Well, I became one. So I'm going to teach you the Green Tara mantra, and we'll say it. You can repeat it 3 times after me, and then you are empowered to invoke the goddess Tara. She's known as the swift protectress. One of her mudras, this is supreme giving. Oh, there she is. Yeah, there's the mantra. I'll do that. So it's Om Tare. And you can repeat after me. Om Tare. Tu Tare. Ture. Soha. Om Tare. Tu Tare. Ture. Soha. Om Tare. Tu Tare. Ture. Soha. There's a lot of legends about Tara. When I was in Italy, surfing the TV channels, I was trying to get one in English, and it told the story of Tara, the only one in English. She was a Tibetan princess, Princess Moon. When she reached enlightenment, the monks said, oh, now you can be reborn as a man and reach enlightenment. She said, no, I swear there aren't too many female forms as an example of an enlightened being. I will always be born in a female form. So that's why the resurgence of Green Tara, the goddess, and just about every Tibetan knows this chant and this goddess. Now, my Tibetan main master, Dzogchen master Chan Norbu Rinpoche, he once was doing a Tara retreat, and she manifested as Mary, Mother Mary. And then another time he was doing a retreat, and there was Kuan Yin, became Tara. So she's the divine mother of all the Buddhas. There's different forms. This one's the Green Tara. You can call on her. Tara, 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 Tara. Tom is her seed syllable. And Rigson will get into the Tara meditation where you become Tara. And then I got into dancing Tara. And after 9/11, it was September 2001, about a month later, I was on my way on pilgrimage, a Tara pilgrimage. And when we landed in Delhi, concierge whipped out the newspaper. It said, U.S. declares war on terror. So there I am in India, a third world country. I have to take refuge and protection in the goddess Tara because we're dancing there and, you know, we're at war. Who knows what's going to happen? So that's when my true faith in those sacred places where Tara was and different masters. The Karmapa had just escaped from Tibet. He is being trained by the Dalai Lama, who I met at the airport in San Francisco and who blessed me. And he whacked me real hard on the head. And then I was in Santa Fe the next day, and there was a Carillion photographer where I was doing my gig out of this New Age store. And I got my picture taken of my aura. It was off the charts. It was off the picture. It was in Tibetan colors, the joy color, you know, the reds and the orange and the yellow. So it totally changed me. And I had many dreams about His Holiness giving me teachings before I met him in person. And I became a Tara dancer. And I danced in India, Nepal, and Japan. And I'm devoted to Tara. Tara, she's my girlfriend, but she is swift to come to your aid. You just have to call out to her, Tara, Tara, Tara. There's a legend that Chinray Z, Avalokiteshvara, was healing a lot of beings on the planet of pain. And he just got overwhelmed. I can't do it anymore. And from a tear, the goddess Tara arose. And she said, don't worry, I'll take that responsibility. Till the end of time, I will benefit beings and help them cross into enlightenment. So that's how powerful she is, in a female form too. Always in a female form from now until the end of time. She vowed. Okay. So next, Rigson's going to take over a meditation. He's the nerd expert on Tibetan spirituality. And so I'm going to hand it over to him, and you will learn how to become enlightened being as Tara.
Hi, everybody. Yeah, I've been involved in many spiritual traditions. When I went to Catholic grammar school and Catholic high school for 12 years, I realized that the Catholic Church at that time in the 60s was, with their dogmatic view of life, the rules and regulations were sending more people to hell than to heaven. And I had made a commitment that I was going to fix that somehow by creating a theology based upon the two great commandments of Jesus in the Sermon on the Mount. I was 16 and a half, 17 when I came up with it, but I didn't think anybody was going to listen to me. So I figured, well, if I become a priest, and if I know that's not going to do it, even if I go up the channels and even become the Pope, that's still not going to change everything. And I realized the only way that was going to happen is if I became a theologian and then challenged the existing theology at the time. But I didn't have the patience to do that. And besides, I was committing too many mortal sins to even consider that. So I turned my back on Catholicism with the help of my consul, who was going to follow on. He was a Christian brother. I call him Saint Brother Edward. He saved my ass. I was about ready to commit suicide. or become a contact killer, get away with whatever I can get away with. Because, what the hell? God didn't really exist. It didn't really matter. Anyway, so at that point, he did counseling with me for a year and a half of my high school life.
Excuse me, I'm just having trouble hearing you. There's a noise in the background that might be related to Janet's computer. I'm not sure.
It's your hearing aids.
Do you hear the noise now?
No, now you're perfect. Thank you.
It's my hearing aids.
Oh,
Okay. So I took them off so that that static doesn't exist.
Okay,
Anyway,
thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. I didn't realize they affected things like this. But anyway,
Tibetan Buddhist stuff.
yeah, so at that time, this was the late 60s. So 65. And that was Haight-Ashbury, the Summer of Love. And at that time, I was steered in the direction of third force psychology, Abraham Maslow, Carl Rogers, Rollo May, Esalen Institute, Fritz Perls, all that stuff, plus Timothy Leary. And, you get the picture. So I came out of my real depressive funk and got into sex, drugs, and rock and roll. And third force psychology, Abraham Maslow, existential, whatever. I got into being a Christian existentialist because the atheistic ones were too depressing. And I was filled with hopefulness, with joy and love and Woodstock. I mean, the whole 9 yards. So it was my generation at the time, probably a lot of your generations at the time. I remember hearing about Gabriel Roth. And I mean, it was a compendium of all the new movement that was coming down the pipe. So all in all, after I got through that, the Haight-Ashbury turned sour and became, it turned to kind of the dark side. And a lot of my generation went to Eastern religion as a way of dealing with the change from being a hippie. So a lot of my contemporaries went to Hinduism. They went to Bhakti Yoga, Hare Krishna, Sivananda, was it autobiography of a yogi? Yogananda. So, but for some reason, I didn't resonate with that. And so I got into Alan Watts. And so I got into Alan Watts. And after being with him for a while, after he passed, I got into traditional Zen, Suzuki Roshi. And then I realized that quite wasn't where I resonated. And then I ran into Tibetan Buddhism. And there was a really good fit because I had been with the Catholic Church with all its ceremonies and rituals and what have you. They had a lot of rituals and ceremonies and what have you. So, and then on top of that, as I was doing stuff with Watts, I got involved with Native American spirituality. I got to spend a lot of time with Grandpa Wallace Black Elk and Harley Swift Deer and Sun Bear, and did medicine circles. I did a lot of stone people lodges. I did a lot of pipe ceremonies. So I was going along a twin path of the red road, Native American, as well as going on the yellow road of Buddhism. So eventually I had to make a choice because there was too much activity with both. So I decided to go with Tibetan Buddhism. And I've been there ever since the late, maybe 1968, 69 to the present time. I've been involved with Tibetan spirituality, which means not only Tibetan Buddhism, but also the spiritual tradition that was in Tibet before Buddhism got there, which was called Bon, Yungdrung Bon, the indigenous spirituality of Tibet. So I had many Yungdrung Bon teachers who I received the highest teachings from, as well as many Tibetan teachers who I received, Tibetan Buddhist teachers, whom I received a lot of the highest teachings from. So that's kind of like my resume. But the bottom line, as our teacher, Namkhai Norbu Rinpoche, great Dzogchen master, said, remember the main point. And this is where I get a little serious. What is the main point? The main point is to rediscover your perfection as a Buddha, your perfection as an enlightened being, the Christ, however you want to embody or describe the divine. But in Buddhism, it's to realize yourself as what you always were, are, and forever will be, which is an enlightened being. Now, the mystery of this is how come we don't remember that now, right? I mean, okay, so that's another discussion. However, the main point is rediscovering your perfection as a Buddha. You always have been a Buddha. You always will be. No matter what life after this one you go into, all sentient beings, that means every being that's not an enlightened Buddha, a being who hasn't realized their perfection, is a Buddha in progress. So all beings that have consciousness are beings in progress. And once they've arrived at Buddhahood, game over, done deal. Now they can spend the rest of their existence as a Buddha in helping bring liberation or enlightenment to the multitude, the multiverse of samsaric beings that exist throughout the universe. So it's actually the best job in town is to be a Buddha, to try to help all other beings that aren't quite yet Buddhas become Buddhas. So the main point is how to become a Buddha right now in your current lifetime. Well, I have a couple of methodologies that might prove useful to you if you choose to use them. It's entirely up to you. So, first of all, the highest teaching there is in both Tibetan Buddhism and in the Bon tradition, that tradition is called the Dzogchen. Dzogchen, which translated means the great perfectedness, the great completedness. From beginninglessness, all is, was, and forever will be perfect and complete. We just forgot. So, as a proponent of Dzogchen, my job is to help all beings who are open and willing to realize their perfection in this lifetime, not in the next one, not in 14 other lifetimes, etc. But in this one, a single lifetime, you can realize your perfection as a Buddha. Now, the two ways you can accomplish this are by sounding the syllable ah, A-H, ah.
She has a picture.
Oh, yeah, I have a picture. Does she have the picture?
She has it.
Well, the
And
number
I'm
six.
trying, yeah, I'm trying to get it up. I'm trying to get it up.
In the project.
Okay, let's see if I can. Is that coming on yet?
Don't see it as yet.
It's a beautiful.
Okay.
Not yet.
Not yet? Okay. I'm still trying. I had it all up there. Let's see. Let me do this. Okay. And let's do share. Is it coming up yet?
Not
I'm
yet.
so sorry.
No, but I want to get.
You can't. The AI is
Let's do this. And let's hit it up again. And then let's go share. I'm so sorry. Let me see if I can share. Let's see. Okay. Let's try to go back. Let me do this. Go
Here's-
back.
Oh, here's the picture.
It's the American way.
There we go.
That instead of the Tibetan.
So that is a representation of the sound ah. So it's a symbol of a sound. The sound has the power. This is just a symbol of the sound. So in various languages, whatever they have to represent the sound ah, you would make that symbol in their language, and you would set it up the way I have it set up here, because in that symbol it shows ah. Okay, that's the Tibetan ah. So that in Tibetan is the sound ah. This one that I showed you here is the same symbol, but it represents our English ah. But there's symbols of the sound ah, and the power is in the sound ah. So if you were to take Dzogchen and say, well, okay, if Dzogchen could be represented or could be put into a sound, what would that sound be? That sound would be ah. So by sounding the ah over and over and over again, you are connecting with your primordial, beginningless, enlightened state that is contained in that sound of ah. So the sound ah is the sound of your perfection, of every being's perfection throughout the universe. Ah is the sound of that that perfection, that completedness, the sound ah. So the more you do the ah, the more you're connecting with your primordial, beginningless, enlightened state of Buddhahood. So that's a simple one. You can sound the ah whenever you want, whoever you want, whatever. Ah, do ah. So by being possessed by the ah, you become a wizard of Oz. Okay. So anyway, that's my little Dzogchen joke. Anyway, so just the sound itself has the power. The sound ah. Okay, now, if you want to do a meditation with that, or a standalone meditation, Dzogchen style meditation, you would sit however you sit when you do your meditation practice. And normally it's, your back should be reasonably straight. But the important thing in Dzogchen is to relax. Relax, 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 relax. So back somewhat straight. Your eyes are always open, but not wide open, just open, relax. Your hands, wherever you put them, your feet are wherever, and you breathe normally. And all you're doing is relaxing. And in your head, there's no thinking, no judging, no analyzing, no commenting. Do not engage your mind. Witness and observe your mind, but do not engage your mind. Just relax and watch the show. Observe the show. Do not engage your mind. Your mind's going to want to comment and evaluate and think, and it's going to want to do that. Just kind of step back and observe and watch. Now, if your mind snags you, and chances are it's going to start getting you to think and judge, you just sound the ah. Ah. That's all. Do it a couple of times and it'll melt all that thinking, judging, analyzing into glorious, vibrant space. And you rest in that. It'll start up again. The thinking, judging, analyzing, all that stuff will start again, all that, the dribble, the monkey mind. Yeah. Relax. Observe and witness it. If it gets to be too much, overwhelming, sound the ah again. You keep on doing that over and over and over again until eventually you're able to sustain that nice spaciousness without any problem. It's just there. So, I can just, Jacqueline knows, my friends know, I can just sit in a corner and be like I am now. For hours. Just kind of like a zombie. But not like a zombie. Because I have awareness, presence, clarity. I can hear little sounds, even though I don't have my hearing aids. My sense fields are open, my nose, everything. The important thing about doing Dzogchen meditation is all your sense fields must be open. They have to be open. But you're relaxed. Your back is straight. When you get good at it, you can be slouching. You can be half asleep. You can sleep while you're doing this.
They say to do that before you go to sleep.
You connect with the ah, especially before you go night-night. Connect with the ah. Try to fall asleep with some kind of sounding of the ah in your head. Or you can make the image, that A. You can place that in your heart, in your forehead, wherever. But if it keeps you from sleeping, But you can actually utilize the symbol of the ah when you go to sleep. It's it's called dream yoga. Now, in Tibetan spirituality, there are a ton of dream yogas, and they're all complicated. I can't stand complication. Dzogchen is designed to be simple. Simple. Kind of like below no-brainer. So you sound the ah. Relax. No thinking, no judging, no analyzing. Observe and witness your mind. Sound ah. That's it. It's that simple. Now, that's Dzogchen. Now, there's another teaching that Norbu Rinpoche gave us called Anu Yoga. Now, I know we have a gentleman who's JB or something? This somewhat familiar? Okay. This,
Yes.
maybe he can relate a little bit to this. But there are 5 schools of Tibetan spirituality, 4 that are Buddhist. And this gentleman here, Padmasambhava, he established Buddhism in Tibet. And in the Nyingma school, there's Nyingma, Kagyu, Sakya, Gelugpa. Dalai Lama belongs to Gelugpa. But anyway, in the Nyingma tradition, the oldest tradition founded by Gurbache, you find the 2 main teachings. The top of all of the teachings, you find Dzogchen, and you find something called Anu Yoga. Anu Yoga. Now, the difference between the 2 is how you arrive at that non-dual state of no thinking, no judging, no analyzing, no commenting, sound it puts you in this non-dual state. Non-dual. Non-dual means not this or that, not black or white, not good or bad. If it's non-dual, it's paradoxical. Black is white, white is black, good is bad, da 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 da. It's non-dual. There's no dualism. There's no dualistic concept in the Dzogchen teachings, because your realized mind is non-dual. It's not this or that, good or bad. It's just judging. No thinking, no judging, no analyzing, just relax, sound Anyway, so the way you can get to that state using Anu Yoga, in this case, since my sweetie here brought up Tara, okay, you do an Anu Yoga practice with Tara. Okay, now what is Anu Yoga? Anu Yoga is being, feeling the deity. So that nice picture of Tara that you have, nice picture, you kind of become familiar with it. Kind of close your eyes, look at her, kind of get a feel for what this being, Tara, this mother of all the Buddhas, her power, her presence, her energy. So you get a feel for that Tara, what she is. Okay, so once you get a feeling for that, then start off by sounding the ah. Ah. That puts you into the non-dual state of Dzogchen. From there, you call on Tara. Tare, tare, tare. As soon as you even think Tara, by saying the first tare, she's bang right there in front of you. What be thy bidding? What you called me. So you call her, tare, tare, tare. So boom, she's right there, right in front of you, life size. After you call her, then you sound her seed syllable. Her seed syllable is the sound of Tara. If you were to put Tara in a sound, it would be her seed syllable. Her seed syllable is Tam, T-A-M, Tam. So you sound ah, put you in the non-dual state. You call Tara, tare, 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 she's here. Then you sound her seed syllable, Tam. When you sound her seed syllable, immediately, because you sounded it from you, you immediately become Tara. Immediately. So you sense, feel, be Tara. Not a picture. You feel her essence in your being. You are now Tara. And then, to lock that in, you do her mantra. Om tare tu tare turi soha. Om tare tu tare turi soha. Om tare tu tare turi soha. Om tare tu tare turi. You do that as many times. Some folks like to use a mala. to count. You just do it as much as you want. You don't have to keep track. With Ana Yoga and with Dzogchen, it's simple. Whatever resonates with how you feel at the time. You want to do 100, 1,000, whatever. Om tari tu tari tori som tari tu. It's fine, whatever. But every time you say her mantra, her DNA, her enlightened DNA, is converting your DNA into her DNA. So you are becoming Tara. I mean, energetically, you're becoming, transforming you instantaneously. You become her with the Tam. Then you do her mantra, Om Tari, Tu Tari, Tu Tari, so it locks in that DNA of Tara and you. So you are effectively transforming yourself into Tara. You are becoming the enlightened being that Tara is and what you have always been, because there's no difference between her enlightenment and your enlightenment or any being's enlightenment. It's all the same. It's all water. Water is water is water. Air is air. It's the same. Except now you're going to recognize it by being her. Now, after you do a number of Om Tari, Tu Tari, Tori, so on, you stop, you rest for a moment, you sound the Ah, and then you dedicate the merit of what you just did for the benefit and liberation of all sentient beings. May all beings be liberated. May all beings be happy and free. By me doing this practice, I dedicate it for all beings' enlightenment. That's what you do. That's the practice.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
That's it. The Ah. No thinking, no judging, no commenting. Just relax, observe, witness your mind, sound the Ah. And then if you want to do the Tar practice, you can do the Tar practice.
That's beautiful. That's so...
It absolutely is. It's stunning in its simplicity.
Anybody has
well, I mean, it's simple in the simplicity, and it's giving. It's so giving of the world to give that that connects everybody, and what a beautiful thing. Mm-hmm. It's I can see how that would you'd want to do a daily practice for always. How could you not want to do that? Make peace in the world.
The thing is for the Ah, you can do the Ah anytime. It's waiting in line while you're cooking, while you're in the restroom, in the shower, you can do the Ah. I mean, it's there. A little bit more formal, the no thinking, no judging practice, you can do that as you see fit. The Tar practice, you can pop that out in less than a minute. Ah, tari 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 tam, tari tam som, tari tam som, tari tam som, tari tam som. Ah, dedicate the merit for the benefit of all beings. What? Less than 30 seconds. No excuses. No excuses. That's what our teacher taught us. You can get enlightenment in a single effing lifetime if you do this. If you become Tara, you connect with the non-dual state as much as you can. If you don't get realization at the end of your life, it's guaranteed when you pass and you're on your way to your next life, Tara will come to you and say, hello, we've been waiting for you.
Her pure land.
You're in her pure land, and now she will make sure that you become like her, an enlightened being. Game over. No more birth, death, rebirth, birth, death, the cycle of rebirth and all that bullshit with being reborn. It's over. Game over. Enlightenment is yours. You own it. You are it. And now you can benefit trillions and gazillions of sentient beings throughout the multiverse of samsara. Game over. So just do a little bit of practice, and for sure, when you pass, if you haven't gotten enlightenment in this life, you'll get it on the way. Before you get to your next life, you will pop into the realized state. Game over with samsara. It's over.
She might like the Cherokee Tahani song, the Ah song.
Oh, that one. Yeah.
Cherokee.
So one of my teachers, one of our teachers,
Maybe she's Cherokee and Buddhist as well. Carries
Yeah.
both lineages.
Her name is Dahani Yawahu, and she wrote a book called Voices of Our Ancestors. And her story is very interesting. When the Cherokee did the Trail of Tears March, her band, the Eastern band of the Tsalagi, the Cherokee people, did not go on that death march. They fled into the Blue Ridge Mountains and hid there, and they preserved their teachings unbroken. And she is descendant from that Eastern band. And her grandparents were the holders of the Yawahu lineage of the teachings, her grandparents. And before Dahani was born, Guru Rinpoche appeared to her grandparents and said, not only is your granddaughter going to carry your people's teachings, be the lineage holder, but she's also going to carry the Dharma. So she's a twin carrier of the Cherokee Tsalagi peoples, her generation, her people's teachings, but she always also carries the Tibetan Buddhist teachings. Anyway, there's a song that's connected with the Heart Center that she sings.
We're gonna sing.
Yeah, Jacqueline and I are going to sing. I think it translates something like, the dew is on the grass and the sun is shining bright, or something like that. But anyway, we're going to sing this chant. Okay. And one of the reasons why we like this chant is because it has the ah built into it. So, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Ah, 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 Ateshnaena, Ateshnaena, Anikokone, Anikone, Teshna, Ateshnaena, Ateshnaena, Anikokone, Anikone, Teshna, Ateshnaena, Ateshna ena Aniko kone, anikone, Krishna, ah, 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 ah. Oh,
Oh, so beautiful. It felt like riding waves. It's beautiful. And now we have it permanently taped. We can look back on this moment and we can call it up. Wow. I saw some of you singing along. Good on you.
Oh, yeah, this
coming up.
Coming up on the 18th of July. I think that's let me see here. This is a big Tibetan Buddhist. They're called Big Wheel Days. On Saturday the 18th is called Chukor Duchen. Chukor Duchen, which is it actually celebrates the first turning of the Dharma wheel by the Buddha. And what's important about this in the Tibetan Buddhist tradition is that it's considered to be a 10 million times karma day. So whatever you do that's positive is multiplied 10 million times. And going the other way, if you do something not so nice, it's multiplied 10 million times the other direction. So that Saturday, the 18th, is a big wheel, 10 million times karma day.
And what's so good to know about that is that gives us now an intention because that 18th is coming up.
Yeah.
Right? So it gives us a chance to prepare to make that day full of good intentions.
Well, I would imagine that all the folks that are watching and listening in, I would willing to put a lot of money down that the fact that on a daily basis you don't have very much negativity happening in your lives. So not that you need the heads up, but it might be beneficial to do an extra pair or two, an extra practice or two on that day. So yeah, there's a lot more I could say, but it's we have YouTube. If there's only one station, well, besides PBS, but if I could only have one thing on my Apple TV, it would be YouTube, because it is totally invaluable in terms of the amount of information that it has on everything. And there are really good videos on various Dharma teachings.
There's one on Tara.
There's one on Tara. It's animated, but it's very good. It's on Tara. It's conquering the fears or something like that. But it's I mean, if you put in there search for Tara, it'll come up with about a half a dozen or a dozen teachings on Tara. Also, all the other Tibetan deities, Chenrezig, Manjushri, teachings on the Buddha.
Yeah, the Buddha. I read a book. The Buddha's wife was his equal. They'd go on retreats while he went off to starve and do his thing. She ruled the country. Plus, she was very spiritual, and she started a group of women to be nuns. So she was equal, maybe even more so, because she was ruling the country when Buddha was finding himself or finding his path.
And there's a lot of stories of a lot of women that realized enlightenment. I mean, Tara is kind of like a special case because she comes from another dimension, another realm.
She's an ET.
She's kind of like an ET, but there are many female there are many women in the Tibetan Buddhist tradition that in this life, in the human body, they attained total realization.
Mandarava.
Total realization.
Yeah, that's another practice.
Princess Mandarava, Yeshe Sogyo, Princess Yeshe Sogyo, Sister Naguma, the Ayukandro, the four female Mahasiddhas, all these stories, you don't hear about it a lot because the Tibetan Buddhists are still kind of male oriented, dominated, but there are a ton of female enlightened beings, ton of them.
Well, I was going to say, when Norbu Rinpoche's parents wanted a boy, and so they hired someone to do Tara practice. They wound up having two boys, and Norbu was one of them. But he has a connection to Tara.
And that is so beautiful because I don't know about you all, but I feel compelled to say something, to share something. So when you were doing the chanting, and I could smell there was an aroma of like roses and something else did anyone else have that olfactory experience? It's just like this wind came in with this aroma of flowers is the best thing I can come up with it. But it was just like when you mentioned earlier, about all of our senses being opened. I was just so struck by that. So I just wanted to find out, did anyone else have any experience like that?
Before I went to the Light Center, my apartment reeked of roses. And later, Jim said that was because I had a guest, the one I sublet it to, Shri Kali, she smelled it too. I wasn't burning any incense or nothing. And Jim said that was Mother Mary calling, kind of signaling me to come to the Light Center. And when we were at the Light Center in 85, he said everybody here had a connection to Jesus in his lifetime. And that was Mother Mary's kind of.
Thank you for that. I have a connection. Yeah, thank you.
The other thing is that to me, being that I was going to be a Catholic theologian, the important aspect of Jesus's life in connection with Tibetan spirituality was not so much his resurrection after 3 days, but the 40 days after his resurrection, when he ascended amongst many, many people, witnesses, when he ascended into the sky in a brilliant display of lights. That, in our tradition, is called Jalu Powa Chempo, the great transfer rainbow body of light. Now, according to our teacher, Norbu Rinpoche, we all have that ability to attain this rainbow body of light. You just need to have the instructions on how to do it.
Practice we do.
But
Mandarava. The Mandarava practice we have.
We have the Mandarava practice for long. There's the Tibetan spiritual tradition is so rich. We have something for everybody. I mean, if you want to be healed, if you want to be wealthy and prosperous, if you want to be live long, immortality, we have a practice that which I do every morning. I play this very long practice, which was taken from the Bon tradition, where you can actually go back to your ancestors, your lineage of ancestors, going back as far as you can remember. And you can do this practice goes back as far as it's connected with you and liberates those of your ancestors whose spirits are still kind of wandering through the multiverse of samsara. This practice goes out and it grabs them and turns them towards the light and sends them in that direction. That's how powerful this one practice is. It's incredible. That was a practice that the Bon had for soul retrieval. But Guru Rinpoche, Padmasambhava, took that and said, I'm going to tweak it so it can go out to every being's relatives and put them on the path to enlightenment. So, and then there's the Chud ceremony, where you go to a charnel ground and you do this ceremony where you turn your body. You call on the great black Vajra mother. It's a wrathful manifestation of Tara. And she chops up your body into pieces and puts in a great cauldron and makes enlightenment stew out of you. And then you're in these charnel grounds and you call all the spirits that are wandering around there. All the beings are wandering there. You invite them to come and eat this stew that's made from you and the great black Vajra mother. And that stew is the enlightenment stew. It becomes the nutrition that helps those beings that show up to get enlightened. After they have the stew, then they're no longer wandering around. They go off into the light. So there's that ceremony, the Chud ceremony.
Fish release.
Oh, and then there's
bird release when we were in India.
Yeah, there's all these
freeing the animals,
freeing the fishes that bring you great karma by releasing animals and birds so that they don't get eaten. You incur great karmic consequences by doing that.
And then we have the different Dharma and Tara dancing that.
Yeah, she has. Yeah. So it's a tradition that's very rich, and you can get involved in all of these different aspects. But the main point is for you to secure your realized state in this lifetime. You need to get out of the wheel of birth, death, rebirth, birth, death, rebirth, birth, death, rebirth. You need to get out of that.
And help other beings.
Realize your perfection as an enlightened one. And now, as an enlightened one, go and benefit numerous sentient beings. So that's the main point. That's why I stress the Dzogchen practice of the no thinking, no judging, and the Ana Yoga practice of Tara. Those will expedite your realization in this lifetime. Amen.
Wow, that is so incredibly powerful. And I love the simplicity of it, but also the depth of it. That it gives us a way to connect with our essence and to, I call it the infinity of giving and receiving. We're receiving as we're giving, and we're giving as we're receiving. And that is just amazing.
the important thing, our Dzogchen master used to always say, it's important that you always dedicate the merit of what you've done, whether it's a Dzogchen or a Nana Yoga practice or any spiritual practice, any spiritual practice. Whenever we eat, whenever we drink something, whenever we find a place to park, it's, oh, I don't look like, doesn't look like we're going to find a place to park here, honey. Oh, spot just opened up. Thank you for the benefit and liberation of all beings. I mean, every occasion is getting up in the morning. I'm up. Oh, no. Thank you, enlightened ones. Another day. Thank you for the benefit and liberation of all beings. It's always be in gratitude. Be thankful for every moment. You dedicate the merit of your existence that all beings benefit from that. So it's kind of a no-brainer, but we've gotten into the habit of doing that. So for us, it's a no-brainer. But in the beginning, it took a while to remember, oh, got to dedicate the merit. Oh, dedicate the merit. Oh, I'm eating, dedicate the merit. Oh, I just got some gas. Oh, made it to the gas station. Dedicate the merit.
Rinpoche also said it's important to integrate.
Yeah, well,
into your life.
so this, Jacqueline brings up a really important point. By doing these practices, the Dzogchen practice and the Ana Yoga practice, once you've done those practices, now you're back in samsara again. Okay. While you were doing those practices, you were like in the Buddha realm. Okay. But then, like, when you're done, it's like things settle more into the concrete, dualistic, this and that, dualistic vision, this and that, black and white, thinking, judging. So you're in the regular world again. So Norbu used to always say, what you do your best to try to integrate your daily life into the practices you've been doing. So one way you could do that, I found, is that when you're making coffee, you're doing over here and you're getting ready to do this, you every now and then you sound an ah. Make coffee, make tea, Then you could just do Tara. Om tari tu tari turi, so om tari tu tari turi, so om tari tu tari. So when you're driving in the car, om tari tu tari turi, so om tari So you try to integrate as much of your practice into your daily life, so it becomes kind of like a super enlightened positive practice to integrate everything that you do in your daily life as much as possible into your practice. So your daily life becomes your practice. That's the whole idea, so that there's no distinction between the non-dual state and your daily life. So that presence that you have by sounding the if you can somehow arrive at that in your daily life incrementally, every now and then, here and there, then you're now integrating that practice into your daily life. And so that helps. That helps you realize, lock in your non-dual state in your everyday life. So it makes it easier for you to realize your perfection at the end of your life. And of course, even at the end of your life, in the Bardo states, from the time you die to your next incarnation, you won't get to that next incarnation because you will be realized. Yay! Anyway, yeah.
I really want to thank you, both of you, for sharing your theology and your practice, your personal practices. One thing that I think is kind of a common thread that has resonates with me, and I heard from both of you, is this truth that we are inherently enlightened or inherently divine, and that's it can't be changed, it can't be altered. and that we encounter the divine wherever we go. When I was young man, when I was in college, I met a Taoist practitioner from Budapest, from Hungary, and he shared with me a lot of his kind of Eastern teachings. But he one thing he shared with me, which I'll never forget, is the exact translation in Hungarian of their word for God, which is Isten. And he said, precisely translated, Isten means you too. And that I think that powerful message is something that is shared among so many mystical teachings and practices. The idea of that we are already enlightened. We've already arrived. And the realization, the practice of it, the realization of it, the experience of it is life-changing. So I want to thank you guys for sharing this lifelong work.
You're welcome, my brother.
I have a question, please. Can you repeat? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Hi, my name is Eva. When I was trying to write down the Tara. It was after we go Tom. Let me see how to go. It's go the Utata Tutata. That's what I didn't get. Could you repeat that?
Yeah. The mantra is the whole process starts off with sounding an ah.
I've got that. Yes.
You call Tara, Tare, T-A-R-E, Tare, 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 Tare. Then you sound the seed syllable, the syllable that represents Tara. If you were to put Tara in a sound, it would be Tom, T-A, Tom.
Yes.
Okay. And then her mantra is Om Tare.
Om Tare?
Om, O-M.
Om. Okay. Got it.
Tare, T-A-R-E. Tu Tare, T-U. A-R-A, Tu Tare. T-U.
Ture Soha.
Tare,
Ture.
Okay, and
there we go.
Then it's there it is.
It is. Hold on, let me get a picture of that.
That's it. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. That's it right there.
That's it.
Can you see the picture? Yeah.
Soha.
And then on the you can Google various images of Tara. So this mantra is associated with her manifestation as green Tara. Now the representation green is in Tibetan symbology. It represents the air element. So she's swift to come to your aid. You can see that her right leg is extended off the lotus. That means she's ready to spring into action. So
her mudras, I can show you her mudras. Her mudras. This is supreme giving. It's usually on your knee. Supreme giving. And then this is protection or refuge at her heart center. So you may see her depicted. And I was taught in this other yoga tradition that if you did this and start doing it, helps you to open your lungs and breathe easier. So you could try breathing normally and then this at the heart center and breathe. And you could try and chant her mantra to your heartbeat.
Thank you.
So when you do that Anu yoga, that picture is the picture that you want to, when you do the Tom, and that's the energy substance, essence being that is you're becoming. So you kind of associate that picture of Tara or something similar as you immediately become her, feel, be her, that being that you see in that picture. You feel and be, not make a picture, but you become Tara and you do her mantra. So that's the power of doing it on a yoga style. Okay, that's something that Guru Rinpoche brought from another country called Trusha. He brought that teaching from Trusha. And once again, the power of that practice is that you and Tara are becoming one instantaneously. Not now in the other traditions, okay, in the other traditions, in the Galupa, Sakya, and the Kagyu tradition, they have something called Anuttara Tantra. And the way that you become the deity is very time consuming and complicated. Usually it can be accomplished by doing a 3-year, 3-month, 3-week retreat. And why it's so difficult is because the deity that you are going to be doing is very complicated, very detailed. And you have to memorize, visualize in detail that deity. So when you close your eyes, you can make out all those details. Once you've mastered doing that, then the next process is you have to integrate them into your being, into your channels and chakras. So that is very complicated and time consuming. You can see why it is. If you're able to accomplish that, then you arrive at something called Mahamudra, which is essentially the same as the goal of Dzogchen, the non-dual state. But it's very labor intensive. Okay, so that's why Anu Yoga, you bypass all that because you instantaneously become the deity. You don't have to do detail, you don't have to memorize, you don't have to remember, integrate it into your chakra. No. You instantaneously become the enlightened being. Well, so that's why it's so precious.
I was going to tell a story. Surya Gupta was a sage, Tibetan sage, who I believe he had leprosy, and he focused on Tara practice, and he actually wrote about the 21 manifestations of Tara, and he was healed just through doing the Tara practice. So he's one of Surya Gupta and Atisha. Atisha was the one. You know, they're the experts that can learn more about different aspects of Tara.
Thank you so much.
This is wonderful. Anything else? These are great questions and great inquiries. You've given us like a rich tapestry.
Well, as I tell folks that so many of our friends have wanted us to do this Zoom and have a web page and
well, we had groups.
We have
Virginia Beach, Virginia. We had a group for 6 years. We did the Torah teachings, the Dharma teachings.
Yeah, we're really low under the radar. Not really. I mean, this is probably one of the first major
Zoom ones
teachings that we have done outside of the little small things we've done at the local library and at our local church. We've done some things, but nothing of this magnitude have we ever done before. Yeah.
That's wonderful. Now, Donna Christensen, you have your hand up, my dear.
Right, I have a question. First of all, I want to thank you. This has been a really interesting talk. And I had a realization when you were talking about the sound of ah, and that is how Allah has ah in his name and Jehovah has ah in his name. Is there any connection
Yes.
between these?
Yes. Yes. The sound ah, linguists have found that sound ah is pervasive in all languages around the planet. Um,
Amen, too.
Amen, and the light bulb ah, and then when you sigh relax ah. So the ah,
Aho, aho, in the
ah,
Native American
there you
tradition.
go.
Aho.
So it's all pervasive. The sound ah. I mean, even when you pause, when you're thinking, what? So, so anyway, yeah. So it is that sound is all pervasive in that way that it's found in languages around the planet. Um, but um, but
Cleon, I don't know.
what?
It's in Cleon.
It's clean. I don't know. I don't know. It's ET languages, but yeah.
Oh,
So
Dzogchen, according to His Holiness, found in other star systems.
oh yeah. The other thing is
Dalai Lama.
the Dzogchen teachings. One thing about the Dzogchen teachings, they are. If you were to take all traditions, spiritual and non-spiritual, and put them in the form of a pyramid, the Dzogchen teachings would be at the top of the pyramid. They contain all teachings, spiritual or non-spiritual, all are contained within Dzogchen. All teachings are contained within Dzogchen.
They're found.
And they are found on at least 13 other star systems other than our own. Dzogchen teachings are found in 13 other star systems. Yeah. So if you were to do a AI Google or anything like that, or even go up to YouTube and Google Dzogchen teachings, you'll find a lot of teachings on Dzogchen. If you find teachings by Namkai Norbu Rinpoche, I recommend those strongly.
Also, Lama Lina.
Oh yeah, and Lama Lina.
She's a great female teacher holding the
Yes.
Dzogchen.
Lama Lina is a wonderful lady Lama who's really down to earth, very earthy. And she does Dzogchen teachings, Lama Lina. You could also find her teachings on YouTube as well. So
How do you spell the Dzogchen and the Loma Lina? Lama Lina.
Lama Lina is Lama, Lama, and then Lina is Lena.
Okay.
Lena, Lama Lina.
Okay. And Dzogchen?
Is D as in David, Z as in zebra, O as in Oscar, G as in George, C as in Charlie, H as in Henry, E as in Echo, H as in Henry, E as in Echo, and N as in Nancy. Dzogchen.
Thank you.
And thank you. Chris Brown, you have your hand raised.
Yes. Hi, this is really interesting. I have a question and I have to admit I have Harley Swift Deer in my background, so I was musing about how to kind of connect that in. And um, the question that relates, I think, is a lot of the teachings in a lot of places, including Harley Swift Deer, a lot of them are somewhat reluctantly shared, or, well, folks, we've been able to get permission to share this, but only in limited places and limited ways. And I'm curious about the teachings that you're sharing as to whether, was there a great epiphany on the part of the Tibetans that it was time to share to the world? Have they always shared with the world? Uh, are we supposed to be hearing this? And is there a reason? Is there something that sharing will bring about? Do you
Well,
understand? Do you get my question?
Yeah, when
Yes.
the Chinese kicked them out of Tibet, they can't. That's when the Dalai Lama actually helped to get Tibetan teachings out into the West. And our teacher, when he was guided to come to Italy, because his family were imprisoned, so a lot of the Tibetans, that's when the teachings came out. They weren't isolated in Tibet anymore.
Your question addresses an issue that I've been dealing with for a while. There are a lot of traditional lamas who will not offer Anuttara, Tantra teachings, or even offer Dzogchen teachings or Ana Yoga teachings because they have the traditional way of doing things, which is usually you have to finish your Nandro or preliminary practices. That used to be a condition of getting the advanced teachings. And then they modified that to say, well, you don't have to complete your Nandro, you just have to be doing it. And so Namkhai Nobu Rinpoche basically had an answer. He was called on the carpet by a lot of traditional Tibetan lamas. And they basically said to him, what are you doing teaching Dzogchen? I mean, a lot of people haven't even started their Nandro. They haven't even completed it, whatever. And he said, well, if that's the case, then Garab Dorje, who is the founder or the Buddha of Dzogchen, he would have had what was called the 4 words that strike the essence. Now, I've got to go back and tell you what that is. Garab Dorje, and this is for my brother JB over there. There's a nice picture of Garab Dorje where he is pointing at you like this, which is essentially saying, you're it. Okay, that's Garab Dorje. Now, Garab Dorje is famous for his 3 words that strike the essence. Now, the 3 words that strike the essence are, first of all, direct introduction to the nature of your mind. The other one, the second word is remaining without doubt. And then the third word that strikes the essence is continuing with remaining without doubt. So direct introduction into the nature of your mind, remaining without doubt, and continuing. Those are the 3 words that strike the essence. Now, in Dzogchen teachings, all you need is direct introduction to receive Dzogchen teachings. That's all you need is direct introduction. So, when Norbu Rinpoche was challenged by these lamas, he said, well, if you have to do Nandro, then Garab Dorje would have had 4 words that strike the essence. direct introduction, remaining without doubt, continuing, and do your non-drill. But Garab Dorje didn't do that. He only had 3 words that strike the essence: direct introduction, remaining without doubt, and continuing. So he basically shut them down. I can teach Dzogchen as long as I give direct introduction. And what I did with all of you, by sounding the ah, I just gave you direct introduction. And with direct introduction, sounding and practicing that ah, you can practice any of the highest of Tibetan Buddhist practices, because there's nothing higher than Dzogchen. And I gave you direct introduction by giving you the ah. So, yes, there's a lot of lamas that are pissed off at me, and I could give a flying you-know-what. Because our Dzogchen master said, direct introduction, remaining without doubt, and continuing. So, does that help answer your question? I knew it would.
Lama Lena does a good talk on that. If you go on the website. And also, we have been guilty of sponsoring and organizing for different Tibetan lamas to give teachings for years.
Oh yeah, we've run the whole gamut of supporting lamas that have given the highest teachings to students in the West, and we've set them up in 3 days and building, setting up, making these tsatsas, these little.
And soul retrieval was real powerful.
I mean, it's just we've been hosting lamas, giving teachings for like over 20 years now. So we don't do that anymore because we're teachers in our own right now. So we don't really sponsor teachings anymore. But if there's a specific teaching that I hear of somebody wanting a little bit more background on that in a more traditional sense, I will direct them to a teacher and to a teaching to help them get more involved and get more clarification about that teaching. So I won't hold anything back. I'll refer them, but I may know something about that teaching, and which I'll offer. But I always stress the main point. Why are you doing all this? Why are you chasing all of these teachings? Why? Oh, okay, because you want to heal somebody. Ah, that's different. I can help you with that. Oh, I want to attain immortality. For what reason? Oh, it'd be nice to live long. For what reason? Well, if you don't give me the right answer, which the right answer is to benefit all sentient beings. If that's not in your part of your logic why you want to practice this very high teaching, then I'm going to say, well, why don't you read a book, or why don't you go to that teacher? Because you have not given me the right answer. Your motivation is not the motivation that I know is important for an individual to have in order to. We have some very powerful teachings. I have very powerful protection practices. I mean, if this whole area where we live were under attack, we would survive. Our little home here, we would survive. Natural disasters, we would survive, because we have a poo-poo load of protection practices we do every single day and night. I mean, very powerful ones. So if you want those, I can give you those practices. I can send you the YouTube practices where you can listen to them, and before you go to bed at night, when you get up in the morning. They're very, very powerful protection practices. And by listening to them, by playing them in your home, you get that protection. So yeah.
You could send them to Janet too. Yeah, she said, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we have a plethora of shit.
We had a big storm here a couple of years ago, and across the street, the tree crashed and or into a car, look up the sidewalk, and then another car, and then in the street.
Yeah,
So,
we have very, we're very auspicious in terms of perception. And yeah, and the enlightened ones know we're good for it because we're doing it for the benefit and liberation of all things. Which means to say, when you take bodhisattva vows, when I took my first bodhisattva vows in 1972, I kind of did it because it was the thing to do before getting an empowerment. It didn't really dawn on me what that really means until early on in the 2000s. So from 1972, 35 years later, it finally, the light bulb went. Sentient beings are numberless. Beings that have consciousness throughout the multiverse of samsara are numberless. I vow to liberate all of them, no matter how long it takes. I vow to liberate all of them. That's when I realized that's what the mission is, to liberate all sentient beings.
And I just thank you so much for bringing the depth and the awareness of this to us. And thank you both of you. You know, I mean, I am just so filled. Rigson and Jacqueline, what you have brought us is like the sweet honey, the essence of spiritual practice. And we give great thanks to each and every one of you. And Chris has just put in the chat about Lama Lena. Thank you, Chris. And just be very, very gentle with yourself. We know you have given us your heart, the depth of your heart and soul in this teaching, and thank all of you for being open and asking questions and bringing forth this energy. So for each of you, we give great gratitude. Jacqueline and Rickson, we give you great gratitude. Thank you, thank you.
I'm going to dedicate the merit in our tradition. Om Dari Dari Vandari Swaha. Jaya Jaya Siddhi Siddhi Pala Pala Hasha Sama Mama Kolin Samin.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Hey, y'all.
Great
Thank you.
gratitude. Thank you for being here. And join us next month. We're going to have a little talk on intuition and, you know, developing your intuition. And join us every month for these wonderful series. And know that, you know, your contribution helps us to continue to provide this. We are so grateful to you. And thank you for holding the space and holding the energy for this amazing gift.
Thank you so much.
Thank you all.
Thank
Be
you.
good. Thank you.